5 tips to get ahead in Zenless Zone Zero. Okay, let's see these top 5 tips to get ahead in Zenless Zone Zero, gamers. I'm curious to see this. We'll let this play out. Hey, Ruhu.
To get ahead on day 1 for Zenless Zone Zero, for those that want to get a little bit further into the game, for those that want to make their time a little bit easier when it comes to getting faster materials, when it comes to getting the most efficient use of your time.
Well, hey, I love a time efficiency. You know, that's why I quit. That's why I quit the game before. We love time efficiency, gamers. Absolutely.
Make sure you like, comment, sub.
Like, comment, and subscribe, guys. I fully quit last week to delete off my phone. Hell yeah.
Zenless Zone Zero coming out because it comes out literally, if I'm not wrong, tomorrow.
Wait, what the fuck? Wait, tomorrow night? Oh, it does come out tomorrow night.
Which is gonna be absolutely insane. I'm super excited.
Oh, I get my guy done today then. Holy shit.
Things for us to have right now when it comes to the game coming out. It's just, I'm all over the place right now. But let's go ahead and start with the first.
Holy.
Which is going to be, go ahead and unlock your dailies, because that is
unlock your dailies,
XP, especially when it comes to every
dailies is like a super big thing in these games. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is gonna be a list of like very generalist tips for like the game, right? Because obviously dailies are gonna give you like your biggest source, or I guess second biggest source of like how to level up like your account, period, right? How to get your like adventure rank up, how to get your trailblazer rank up, so on and so forth, other than doing the daily quests, because those are limited. The daily quests are limited to doing it daily, but you can get the most XP doing it that way. Yeah, 100%.
When it comes to Genshin, when it comes to also looking at Honkai Star Rail, same with Wuthering Waves, having your dailies
is massive.
On day 1 or night 1.
Yeah.
Able to get a double daily, I guess you could say.
Yeah, because you can start the daily like before you get the daily reset, because if the game releases, I'm trying to think, would it release? It depends on what time it releases, right? Because if it releases like a couple hours before the technical daily reset, then yeah, you can get like your daily for that day and then get the daily for the next day, so you supercharge your adventure rate for the next day just to get as far as possible.
You have the dailies of the first day or at night, and then right when a couple hours roll out and the reset happens again, you get your next set of dailies.
Yep, 100%. Very huge.
Very nice thing to have. And not only that, there's also other resets.
And considering like how much XP you're gonna get when you're like lower levels, this is gonna skyrocket your account's level.
And also
lag, hello?
That you use to summon on characters, that will be available from this as well. So make sure to go ahead and get your dailies out of the way when it comes to unlocking them after you get a certain portion of the story done, and getting those dailies done first, because that's going to be a massive boost of XP, but it's going to allow you to get to harder stages quicker.
Yep.
And allow you to have more resources
for sure.
When it comes
and not only that, the big benefit with I guess he's right with the like getting more resources faster. It's also better to get closer there, because as far as like I guess like I don't know what it's called, the stamina system in this game. So you don't want to be using your stamina on lower stages. If you can push your I guess adventure rank up, or like I guess your world level up more to unlock higher difficulties of getting like more XP and stuff like that, it's a better use of your stamina overall. So if you can get to these points in the game before you actually like use your stamina on something lower level, it's better to push that adventure rank up higher, or whatever that rank is going to be that pushes the I guess higher rewards from these events, right?
And go ahead and get those done. But make sure play the game until you unlock your dailies at least on day 1, and go ahead and get them done, because that's going to be a big portion.
Also, I guess a tip in this video, I don't know if he'll mention it, I'm kind of yapping right now, but also make sure you're taking use of using your resin as soon as you can as well, just so you're able to like actually not waste any of it, right? Because with gacha games, the big thing with them is that, and if this is your first gacha game, it's basically like if you miss a day in a gacha game, you've missed. It's not like an MMO where you can come back the next day and grind all you want. You are limited to the amount of stuff you can do per day in a gacha. So when you miss a day in a gacha or miss a week in a gacha, you have missed a week in a gacha. Whereas an MMO, you could probably get a week's worth of like daily grind stuff in for that day. Like you can grind one day for like a week's worth of like what you've normally done like daily. With a gacha game, if you miss it, you miss it. Your account stops and halts progression, and you really can't get that back in progression. So it's also very essential that you are using whatever the stamina system in this game is to whittle it down some, so you're not capped, right?
Of the XP that you're missing if you don't unlock your dailies, which is a very pivotal
100%
game for sure. And make sure to do them every single day as well. The next thing is going to be right when you get your first event, or right when you get your first amount of resources that you have to grind. Make sure to go ahead and waste your stamina on them.
Yeah, exactly.
When we're playing on day
100%, I agree. Stamina dump is absolutely essential, but I would stress, if you're like super close to getting that like that next echelon or that next level of unlocking like a new difficulty, maybe hold off just a bit. so you can unlock that, and then you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck that way. Like a couple minutes is not going to really be that much of an effect. Like sure, you don't want to be capped at all time. You don't want to be capped at all. But if wasting a few minutes is the difference of getting like 2 extra rewards or something like that, or like getting more rewards, I think it's well worth.
One, you automatically have your stamina capped at the max right when you start the game, and of course we all know how much of a waste it is to allow that stamina to get not regenerated and not have the ability to get more as you play the game. So as soon as you unlock the stamina feature, as soon as you get the events that allow you to use resources, which are the VR trials, go ahead and spend at least 1 run worth, because that will allow you to be able to regenerate.
That's probably a pretty good idea.
The batteries, that way you're able to do more things as
Yep, 100%. Now, one thing I do want to add to that, like I said before, is like if you are super close to getting that next rank so you can get higher rewards, I think it's worth wasting an extra couple minutes if like as far as like recharging goes to unlock that extra level, because I feel like the extra rewards will validate that. But you don't want to let it cap overnight. If you're about to go to bed, spam that shit. Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. That's all I want to say to that.
You don't want to have it capped. You don't ever want to have it capped. That's
True.
a big thing that you want to remember.
Very true.
Because right now, and I'm pretty sure this will be changed later down in the line, just because it's been added to HSR, it's being added, and if I'm not wrong,
the overcap,
where the reserve stamina is going to be a portion where the stamina that you would have
hopefully so. Hopefully so. I would really love like a reserve stamina system. Like me on my alt account, that shit's capped out on my HSR account, okay? And it helps a lot when I come back to that account and actually need to do something with it. I can just use all the reserves. I hope that Zenless Zone Zero has something like that.
At a reduced rate. I'm pretty sure we're going to get something like this in Zenless as a part of the culture of what they want to appropriate.
Yeah, hopefully so. I hope the quality of life in Zenless Zone Zero is akin to the quality of life in HSR. It's just going to be funny, though. Imagine we get all the quality of life in Zenless Zone Zero, and we get all the quality of life in HSR, and Genshin just never gets quality of life. That will be fucking hilarious. Like, fucking, oh my god, it's fucking funny as fuck. What's happening? Hello, gamers. What the fuck?
Allowing the players to actually have a break, or allowing the players to be able to take their hands off the game and come back. So you really want to make sure until they add that feature that you're always using your stamina. And
oh yeah, I kind of, you know, I kind of wish that's a feature on launch. Like, you would hope that that's a feature on launch. Like, I get it. You're trying to get people to have FOMO come back to the game or whatever. And it seems like a business strategy to have people coming back into the game every day, especially since your game is new. And then the cap makes people like, well, I can play it the next day, right? And you want people to come back in. But I really wish it was a feature initially coming out, because especially with me starting an alt account, I probably won't have time to play the alt account all the time. My main account will probably not get capped, but alt account definitely will get capped.
You don't ever.
And yes, I understand this is coming from like a content creator perspective, but that's just how I feel on it. And I feel like that's gonna be like, I feel like it's gonna be the case for a lot of casual players as well.
Let it cap. So as soon as you get
hey Trey, how you doing?
Resource, stage, go ahead and grind that out at least once, or maybe even twice, when it comes to getting either talent materials, XP materials, or weapon materials, and then going ahead and getting that done. That way you have some stamina regenerating as you play, and if you feel like you're getting off for the day, go ahead and spend the rest.
Yep, 100%.
Well, that's a big portion, not only resources you're going to get, but also a big portion of XP, because remember, the XP that you get is equivalent to the amount of stamina you've spent.
Exactly.
So you want to make sure that you're always
100%.
the most amount of levels as possible, getting you to those stages where you get a little bit more resources and also higher rarity resources, which are very pivotal to your game as well. One thing that is a very, very big tip that a lot of people
so it's at number 3 now.
As soon as the game starts, is not having their core 3. Now the core 3 is a very essential important aspect to this game, and
I agree.
Other gacha games, because the #1 rule that I use.
Yes, guys. This is a problem that I actually see a lot of players making, and I'll probably put this in my video when I talk about every mistake that you want to avoid when playing Zenless Zone Zero, is focusing on too many different characters at the same time. Focus on what your main team is going to be. Hell, even maybe focus like solely on like one character at first to get the DPS up all the way first, and then incrementally level people up, right? So what do I mean by this? What I mean by this is, like, let's say take a Billy, right? If you want Billy to be your main DPS, that's fine. Level him up all the way, and then from there, level everyone up incrementally past that, right? Get them all to a point where they're not dying in missions and stuff like that and can contribute to the team, but focus him and then focus the other two. Don't really put much resources into the other characters into the game, you want to build like a more well-rounded out team, which is why I think tier list and stuff like that's really good. So you figure out who the most well-rounded characters are. But with the game first coming out, I figure most characters will probably be good to beat all the content in the game, just like HSR and just like Genshin was as well. They're obviously going to be better characters than other ones, like featured characters coming out to the game. They're going to be better than what I guess your standard characters would be, and then probably some of your 5 stars are going to be better than what your 4 stars are going to be, so on and so forth. But yeah, focus on your 3. I agree with that. I love the lag time. I love the delay. It's so fucking funny, isn't it? So cringe, so cool.
A lot of new players is that you don't want to over invest in every single character that you get.
Very big problem.
Cool, it may look shiny. When you're summoning for these characters all have really great designs, and you're probably going to want to play all of them. But if you want to plow through content and also make sure that your resources are used efficiently, try to find 3 characters that you're going to enjoy. There's different forms of ways to be able to use all these characters, whether it comes to their in-game trials that you have.
Exactly, guys. Hey, don't be like me on my account. Oh, holy shit. Gamers, we're over a year into HSR, and I'm still over-invested. Let's look at this. Level 60, level 60, level 60, level 60, level 70, level 70, level 70, level 70, level 75, level 75, level 75. Don't over-invest like me, gamers. I fuck up and do this every single time I play a gacha game. I just invest in every single character to see what they do, and maybe it's just me being a content creator wanting to test out every single character. Don't be like me, gamers. Listen to what I have to say rather than doing what I actually do, gamers. This will actually set you back so far and makes your time so much more rough. Trust me, believe me, I'm a copium player, okay? Just listen to me, okay? I know what I'm talking about here, okay? Don't listen to Rihu here. Listen to what he's saying. He's spitting. Oh.
You want to make sure you have your team of 3. That way you're able to use them in almost every piece of content. That way you can get a little bit farther as the game progresses. And you don't want to overinvest in every single
Yep, yeah.
Because when the time comes...
Or, I mean, you could. You could. Hey, who said they didn't want a challenge of having under-level character against higher levels of content? Surely, guys, come on.
And you hit that, I guess you say, world level increase, where every character starts taking a fat ton of resources in order to be able to level them up. You're going to be in that spot where you have a lot of characters leveled up, but no one can be put in that option to be able to be thrown into the highest tier.
What dumbass would do that? What dumbass would level up every character on the roster? Couldn't be fucking me. Ew, fucking loser. Cringe. Imagine wasting your XP on these characters. Couldn't be me, though.
Highest level that you could possibly get a character, because now you have no resources and you're not able to level them up.
Oh, easy. Just buy resources. You can buy refreshes, right? You can just max refresh every day. Easy clap. There's literally a way in the game where you can get all the resources back, just max refresh it, use your summons, instead of summoning like a pleb and gacha, who once again, but anyways, just use it on getting extra resources. Yeah, that's my tip, guys. Use all of your premium currency for refreshing your stamina. That's the best use of it, surely, right?
No money, you're not able to get the, I guess you could say, required amount of money to be able to level these characters up, even if you do have the extra resources. So make sure, find 3 characters that you really, really like and invest in them on day 1, and use these characters until you get to a comfortable amount of stages done. Then start...
Hell, even just one character. If you can just get your main DPS level up, I think you'll be fine.
Start going into your second team, which is your extra core of 3 that you're going to be using for a majority of the endgame content, where it requires 2 different teams. So make sure, find your 3 favorite characters, make a team with them, and then boom, you go ahead and start leveling those characters up and use them to plow through the content that we have currently available in the game. The next thing is going...
Okay, before he hops into the next thing, one other thing that I want to note here is that you don't have to full invest into a character. Like, as soon as you get, like, say you get to a point where you can level a character up, don't immediately invest into that character. Like, what I mean by this is, like, say the cap for the character is level 30, right? Don't immediately level them up to level 30 if you don't like that character, or they're not a very good character, or you can't play with them very well, because you're not going to play with them in the endgame. If you can beat the content with the characters and levels that you have right now, just beat the content with what you have right now. Don't level up until you literally cannot beat the content with the characters you currently have. You want to wait for leveling these characters up to the latest point possible. That's what I would recommend. Make the game a little bit more challenging, sure, but I think it will save you a lot of resources in the long run. Anyways, back to the video.
Going to be a very, very big step when it comes to making sure that your character is in line with the enemies that are going to be going against, which is to make sure to level up your weapons and the characters as well. Whenever you get a brand new world level, whenever you get a brand new ascension portion of the character, make sure to level them up to the max level as possibly can be.
Like I said, that's going to depend on where you're at in the game. If you're very early game, I don't recommend doing this. If you've gotten later game, you have a solid team that you like using, then go for it. Character levels and weapons are usually the best route to go down rather than leveling up relics and stuff like that. This is probably going to work kind of like how HSR and Genshin works as well. Like, you don't want to be investing too much into like the purple gear or whatever that has like dog shit stats and stuff like that, right? You want to be focusing on the character level and the weapons to make sure that you're getting the buffs necessary to beat the content, because this is ultimately going to bring up your base stats, which everything else scales off of. Anyways, I'll let Ryu continue. Okay, or we're just gonna stop play the video. That's fine too.
Compared to the enemy means that you're gonna be doing a lot less damage.
You're
gonna be doing a lot less.
I think that's fine though.
In that damage, because
I think that's fine though, as long as you're still able to beat the content. I think you'll save a lot more resources that way instead of leveling up a character that you're not gonna use in the future.
You'll be getting hit for an extra amount for being lower level than them, and this can happen very easily if you neglect not only your weapon, which a lot of people usually do, and also not pay attention to leveling up your characters as well. This goes back into what I said about leveling your core 3 or not over investing in everybody, because if you have everybody leveled up, you're not going to be able to hyper invest in the characters that you're actually using for your core 3, and this is going to allow you to fall below in the levels that you probably need to be able to not take as much damage and to be able to do as much damage as possible.
Yeah, I really don't think though, like doing as much damage as possible in the early game really matters. I don't think that matters until you get to the end game. Like, sure, if you hit DPS check walls, and yeah, you need to level the fuckers up, right? But before that, I mean, like, if you're able to beat the content and get all of the max rewards from the content, then you really don't need to like fully send and invest these characters, because I feel like if you're trying to full send a character, having the extra resources from not leveling up these characters and just beating the content with them is a lot better than full sending these 3 characters. Then you kind of have to work harder to get the resources for the characters you actually want. So really make sure these are the characters you want to level up, right? Make sure of that before you invest, because it will be harder to level them up if you don't do that.
You want to look forward to when it comes to investing in the characters that you like. You want to make sure you have your weapons leveled up to as max as they can possibly be, and same with the characters, try to keep them at the same level as they want you to be when it comes to the stages you're going to go against. Now, if you like the challenge and you want to keep them a lower level, by all means go ahead and do so, but if you want to make your time easier on day 1, make sure you're using those core 3, leveling them up and leveling up their weapons. I don't recommend leveling up 3-star weapons. If I would say, try to level up a 4-star weapon if you can or is available to you, because that's really easily going to be replaced, while a 4-star weapon might have some more use in the future.
Exactly.
Or something you're going to be using for a very long time.
And the thing is with the 4-star weapons as well, I guess if the 3-star weapon has like a really good effect, right? It's usually like for supportive characters this is the case for, like with, let's take HSR for example, whereas it gives you extra energy regen, right? And you're not really worried about the damage that your allies are doing, or I guess your other characters are doing, those support characters are doing. By giving them that effect, then you can level that up, and I think they would be transferable, but the effect has to be really good, and it's very few and far between in HSR that these 3-star, I guess, light cones really work well for you. Usually 4-star weapons can be transferred to other characters if you get a 5-star variant, right? Or let's say you get a new 4-star weapon that you want to use on that character, you could usually put that other 4-star weapon on another character, because it does give base stats to your character, regardless if the actual effect works well on them or not.
Extremely good for the role that they're specified for, because of course it is role-based weapons.
Yeah.
And the last thing I definitely want to go ahead and say, and this is a big tip, especially because this is a very time-sensitive tip, is to not level up disk drives a massive amount. Just match the disk drives and get the main stat.
Yep, literally, that's like, I think I see a lot of people do this, and this is how they get burnt out on gacha games, is that they will go and just full send, full focus, I need the best relics or disk drives right now. And that's just really not the case. Literally, like you said, aim for the main stats, you're going to be good to go, right? Don't focus on substats until you're in the end game. That's really, you can beat all the content in the game as long as you're getting main stats in the early game.
And what I say with this is disk drives is our relic system that we have in here to be getting.
And also, don't even level them up to max. Like, maybe level them up to level 6. I don't know what the level cap is in this game yet, because I'm still doing my research on it to make my beginner's guide. But overall, yeah, you don't want to invest too overly into this.
And substats. And leveling these 4-stars, these 3-stars up at the very start of the game is going to be a lot of long-term investment lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Resources you're probably going to use in the future when you get your 5-star relics and you get your 5-star disk drives, which is going to be very important in the future. Of course, this is the foundation of the power for the character when it comes to the builds that they're going to be using. And going ahead and wasting a lot of the XP on the 4-stars and 3-stars, something that you will outgrow as time goes by, is gonna take a toll on the resources you have available to you when you do get to that 5-star limit. And of course, when I get to that point in the game, I will be reporting everything that you possibly need to know. So make sure to leave a sub and all that different type of stuff.
Oh yeah, sub for Rihu right now, guys.
When it comes to using the disk drives, using the relics, is match the main stat or use the builds that are gonna allow your character to do a little bit more and give those stats to that character.
Exactly.
The same set and allow them to have the 4-piece or 2-piece is gonna help them.
And like I've said with like any like real Hoyoverse game, right? Always, unless this game just completely changes it up, always focus on getting stats over the sets. Generally, the sets give you like a marginal increase in what you're able to do depending on the set. Most sets give you a marginal increase versus like getting the main stats. Like you don't want to like have a character that is like a DPS character and then you're giving them a defensive substat when they don't scale at that at all. You want to focus on getting that main stat. Like the subs, like these, I guess, set bonuses come secondary to getting those main stats, and then you can focus on getting sets and stuff like that. And honestly, I probably wouldn't even focus on getting like full sets until you unlock 5-star disk drives anyways.
In game as well. But don't necessarily over level any of these things, because it's going to be a very big waste of resource that you probably don't want to do and break the account immediately, which is going to be really hard to level up all those other relics that you're probably going to want to use. And then you are at a lack of resource, which you're gonna have to waste your stamina on, which stops you from leveling up your characters, your weapons, and all that different type of stuff. It just adds a lot more problems that you're gonna have to deal with after a while, but save you time, I guess you could say, at the beginning, which isn't really something you want to do.
True.
Make sure just
very true.
Main stat, match the sets when it comes to the disk drives, and you'll be 100% fine. I was able to beat most of the content in CBT3 without having to level most of my disk drives until I got to the very, very late.
Yeah, that's generally how it is for Hoyo games in general, though. Anyways, gamers, yeah, go ahead and subscribe to Rihu. Drop a like on his video. Link to his stuff will be in the description down below. Really good video by Rihu. And yeah, I can't wait for Zenless Zone Zero. It's coming out in like a day from now from recording this video. This video will probably be up later after I get off a stream today. But yeah, amazing video, Rihu. I can't wait to play the game, guys. I'm going to try to play on launch if I can. I'll try to have my beginner's guide out as well. I'm currently working on it and doing research into it. Should be out tomorrow. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I just dropped the fuck out of that. Anyways, gamers, I'm out of here. See you later. Bye-bye.